Hey, good morning. It's cold this morning. It's like 40 degrees again. It's funny. Language is funny. If I say it's cold here, somebody's going to go, you think that's cold? You should be up here in Canada with the snow and the ice. That's not cold. That's freezing. Freezing and cold. 40 degrees is cold. 50 degrees, the 50s is chilly. 40, it's cold. You get down to below 30, that's freezing. I had this neighbor, used to annoy me. You've heard this story before. Moved in, really proud of himself, had a lot of swagger, but he was a friggin' loser. He sat home playing video games all day, pudgy, had a hump on the back of his neck from just sitting in a desk playing video games all day. And I quickly lost respect for him as a human being. That's just me judging. Not being a nice person. I'm always telling you should be. But one day I came out to the back door on the porch there, and he was standing there. I didn't know he was there, and he surprised me, startled me a little. I went like, whoa, like that. And he looked at me, he goes, oh, I didn't mean to scare you. And I looked right at him. I said, hey, there's nothing about you that scares me. You startled me. He was really big on being a literature. He had a degree in literature from Harvard. And so I pointed out to him. I said, you want to be a writer, you got a degree from Harvard. You should know the difference between startled and scared. I'm just saying. I misspeak all the time, all right? But when you take the time to type something, you got the time. You have the time to be more accurate and more precise with your language versus off-the-cuff speaking, just blah, 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 the blathering that I do, because I misspeak all the time. But, yeah, it's stinking cold. That's all I have to say. So have a great day. It's a Friday morning. Language, man. Use it correctly. I'll see you later. Hey, while I'm at it, I also want to just mention, friends versus enemies. This is just how I feel about it. If you had a friend that you can no longer be friends with, you've had to cut them off, but you cared about that person at one time, just because you don't want to be friends anymore is not the same thing as now being an enemy of that person. That's something where I come from. I guess it's here too, but it really exists where I come from, because when people feel betrayed, then they could see that person as an enemy. I've been there, man. I'm thinking of one guy in particular off the top of my head. I did a video on it. That video I did, the epic rant. This video will end a lifelong relationship or friendship. I think that's the title of the video, something like that. Because that guy in particular, there were times in our past, there's a person standing in the middle of the road with their dog for no reason, just standing there on his phone. Now he's moving off the road. Crazy. Right in the middle of the road. Because whatever's happening on your phone to your life personally is far more important than everyone else around you. Traffic, no matter what else is going on, nobody else's life matters. You're in a public space, you're in the middle of a road, but that little icon that somebody put as a comment, whatever the hell it is, you've got to stop what you're doing and do that and just screw everybody else up. My enemy. No. Enemy is a strong word, man. An enemy implies that you kind of have the right to take that person down or out, right? So, some of us are friends with people for a long time, and it is normal for people to grow apart. We evolve at different rates. And, that's a thing to be aware of. You can't bring all your friends along on the same journey. It just doesn't work that way. It would be nice if it did. Yesterday, I tried to talk to a friend of mine back east on Facebook Messenger. It's really cool because they got the video feature. It's like the Jetsons, man. Whoa, 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 whoa. stay in your lane. I just veered into my lane. He's veering, you know, he put his blinker on now. Now he's behind me. Yeah, and she wasn't available, but I was, because it was Facebook, like you see the little green lights if somebody's on there. And there was another woman I'm friends with that I don't know her super well, really. I mean, we came up together, but I hit it, and she was in her car in a parking lot. And so we had this conversation, and she was talking about how happy she is that our crew from that, she graduated at high school a year after me, but we're all pretty tight those years, like 84, 85, 86, 87, like in that range where I come from. It's a pretty tight group of people, and most of you, if you're watching, are all doing pretty good. I mean, you know, it doesn't, good just means you're a good human being and you got a pretty decent life, because we can all complain. All right, I'm not talking about how much money you're making or, you know, who died or anything like that. Those are normal life things that happen. For the most part, everybody's cool. And the really interesting thing is like we're all still able to party like it's 1985, you know, and we get together. Matter of fact, there's a core group of them that's even a tighter group that they go to this one gal's house. So she's been traveling all over the world now for the last couple of years. I love seeing her posts. But we have, well, they have it. I'm invited because, well, for two reasons. I graduated in 85, but the other thing really is my house is the house they all partied at, because I lived alone in high school. So at 14, I was on my own. It's a long story. So they partied at my pad all the time. Anyhow, so they get together at this gal's house, and the only people allowed to go are the people who graduated in our class in 1985. So if you're married and your spouse didn't graduate from our class in 1985, you're not invited to the party. So, which makes for a really interesting party. It's like, it's a good time. And I'm telling you, I'm not exaggerating. We are still doing, with the exception of edibles. Edibles is the new thing, which they existed back then. Like somebody wanted to make some pop brownies, but that was too much work and really rare, like for high school kids, you know. So these days, these guys are, a lot of times they'll be on edibles, and I don't want to give everything away. I shouldn't speak so much. But my point is we're all having a good time, and it's a lot of fun, and it's really neat that those guys are doing it pretty regular, and if I'm in town, I'm there, and that's cool. And it's just nice, you know. We came from a good time in the 80s, all right? If economy was going good, if you wanted a job, you had a job, period. I mean, the pet rock existed, all right? It was a pretty good time. So just look at the music. It was pretty light and fluffy and all that other good stuff. So it's no surprise that we all are still tight, you know, have those feelings for one another. The division that exists today and the revisionist history, all this stuff that goes on today wasn't really happening back then. So, and patriotism was a thing and all that good stuff. So I got a garbage truck in front of me. I want to navigate around. He sees me. Thank you. Okay, good stuff. All right. Anyhow, I just wanted to say that, you know, if you were friends with somebody and you can't really get along with them anymore, it doesn't make that person your enemy. What could make that person your enemy is if that person has chosen to lash out with you, say bad things, put things out there, try to tear down your reputation, you know, things like that. That's a different story. Yeah. Then you're allowed to go after them. Anyhow, there might be more to this video, so maybe stick around. I don't know. Yeah, so you know what? That's it for this video. I got another one I'm going to do on a tool. Talk about some woodworking history in a little bit here. I'll put some links to that one underneath it. But anyhow, that's it for now. You guys have a great day. Be good to one another. And, you know, use the proper terminology to accurately depict or get across the message you intend. Intent is the thing, and It's more important these days because so many of us are trying to get along and do text messages and that sort of thing. And a lot of it is lost in translation with that. You know, you don't get the inflection in the voice, and sarcasm goes out the window. And it's one of those things too where I was anti-emoji when this was all happening in the beginnings. And I've learned to start using emojis more, because at least with the emoji, you can type something and then get your point across, like the tone of the text, by, you know, putting some stupid goofy face or your avatar or something else. Again, I was against that. And I will say this, because it is funny. I don't know how many of you have thought about this, but if you look at ancient languages that were where they wrote things down, it wasn't always right, like predating letters and whatnot. If you look at ancient Egypt, or if you look at Mesopotamia, they did have cuneiform writing at that point. But again, those were shapes put together to create sentences. But if you look at Egypt, if you look at Central and South America, if you places in Australia, you look, it's pictographs. The Americas with the natives, it was pictographs. And that's where we're actually going back to pictographs. That's what's happening with our communication. We're getting to the point now where we're just using pictures to try to say what we mean. And sometimes that's even more accurate. It's a weird, very strange thing there. So that's it. Have a good day. Be kind to one another. I got a bumpy road, so somebody's going to complain about the camera jumping around. Have a good day. I'll catch you all in the next one.